Welcome to bonus episode 8 of Review Rewind Star Wars Summer. This is the podcast where two friends watch movies of old and ask, were they good? I'm Mike.
And I'm Joseph.
And continuing on our journey, we are talking about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, which we will find out soon is not too much a movie of old. It's still in its childhood.
Yeah, it's, what is it? It's about 5 years old? Almost 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a movie of old, per se.
No, it's a movie in elementary school.
It's true.
Starting elementary
It's in
school.
kindergarten, I think, right?
Yeah, somewhere
Something
around
like that. All right.
Alrighty.
Let me roll through the basics on this one, and then we have got...
We've got quite an episode. This is the only episode I've ever taken notes on.
Wow. Oh, we have to. Let's. Yeah, there's a lot to get to in this episode. Let's go through these basics first, though. As always, the rating of The Last Jedi is PG-13. The genre, sci-fi, action, adventure, and fantasy. Haven't seen fantasy listed in the genres for too many of these so far.
I know. This one is the first one that really has that, which could be argued. I think we had the discussion, but could be argued for all of them.
Sure, absolutely.
And I actually think that George Lucas probably would have deemed it so.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard that the mindset behind it was always, it's a fantasy movie in space. It's not a sci-fi movie that is...
Gotcha.
However you would vice versa that.
Yeah, I got you. Episode 8 is directed by Rian Johnson, one of my favorite directors of the last decade or two. Produced by Kathleen Kennedy and Ram Bergman, and written by Rian Johnson. As we just alluded to, release date was December 2017, coming up on about 5 years old as we record this. Which
is the second, I guess we could say, of the December releases.
That is right, yes. That's right.
Because
1 through 6 were always May releases. Yeah, with Disney... we mentioned this, I think, with episode 7, but with Disney, they are reserving that May summer release point for Marvel movies, which they do very well with. It's nothing to gripe about. And it's kind of fun. They talk about how it's fun tying, like, Star Wars to Christmas in some ways, too, in the theaters. Runtime for episode 8 is 2 hours and 32 minutes. I believe that is the longest in the saga.
Isn't it the second longest?
What's first? Do you remember?
Isn't it episode 3?
Oh, you might be right. We can fact check that.
Up to this point.
That's right.
Because the next one is very long.
It's very long. And then distributed, of course, by Walt Disney. The company, not the man. He's dead. But
that got dark so quick.
So did the saga with episode 8. So I feel like that was an appropriate joke. Stupid. Okay, let's talk about dollars. The movie was budgeted an estimated $317 million,
which we can say at this point in the saga is the highest budget.
That's right.
Of all of them.
That's right. Its gross in U.S. and Canada just over $620 million. And then gross worldwide is about $1.3 billion. It did follow behind episode 7 in not just release order, but also in terms of the dollar amounts that it made at the box office. Still, I don't think anybody at Lucasfilm or Disney was upset with taking in $1.3 billion. It's a tremendous amount of money. So there are our details. That's the gist of episode 8.
Yeah. It made a lot of money.
A ton of money. That's more money than I've made in my whole career.
That's more money than you'll make in your whole life.
Yeah, probably.
Alrighty. So
let's get that synopsis. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how this one goes. I looked through a bunch of them. This one was of the ones I was looking at, a little bit of the longer one. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to avoid it just sounding either like a sentence blip or the back of the DVD. Or I guess this day and age, back of the Blu-ray. So Luke Skywalker's peaceful and solitary existence gets upended when he encounters Rey, a young woman who shows strong signs of the Force. Her desire to learn the ways of the Jedi Force... Oh. No, why? That's a bad sentence.
That's
yeah.
not your fault.
Her desire to learn the ways of the Jedi forces Luke to make a decision that changes their lives forever.
Where's the copy editor? Come on.
I know. Come on. Kylo Ren and General Hux lead the First Order in an all-out assault against Leia, the Resistance, for supremacy of the galaxy. That's not bad. That
pretty good.
Yeah. Like you don't ever want to give too much, because there's definitely like that was the A and B story, and there's definitely like a C, D, E.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's not bad. Just the wording's bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. So
let's breathe. Let's make sure you've got a drink next to you. We're ready for this, are we?
Yeah, everyone drinking their bourbon, taking their CBD gummies, and just chilling out. Alrighty. So,
yeah.
What did you think of the movie overall?
Okay. So many thoughts. Let me start by saying that my notes, no surprises here, right? My notes for episode 8 are, again, the longest that I've written for any movie in the series so far. That has now been the case for like 3 or 4 movies in a row. Watching The Last Jedi, I have to say this, the process of doing it for this podcast ended up becoming kind of like a whole like job and a whole like endeavor for me, because once I got rolling, it's not something that I experienced with the previous 7 movies. The first 7 in the series I put on, I watch it, I enjoy it. It's just done. I'm writing as I'm watching it. Credits roll and I'm pretty much done thinking about it. I find myself having way too much to digest as this movie was playing. And so I had to keep pausing the movie to the point where there were times, I'm not even exaggerating, my Apple TV will go to sleep after an hour. And that happened once during this process where I was watching it, I paused it with something to say, and I just wrote for, at least off and on, for an hour. It legitimately took me 3 viewings over the course of about a week to make it through The Last Jedi in order to try to best synthesize everything that is in my head. So that is like the header on my answer to this question. But I want to. What I don't want to do is like monologue for what will literally probably be at least 10 minutes. So please.
So your overall was. You weren't actively watching it.
That is one way to put it. Or maybe I was like hyperactively watching it.
Yeah, I think it's hyperactively.
Yeah. All that to say, this may be obvious, but I have the most strongly divided feelings about episode 8 than I think any other movie in the saga. Every other movie for me, I've kind of realized falls into like one of a couple of pretty basic categories. There are movies in this saga that I just emphatically love from beginning to end. And those are like 3, 5, 7.
Yeah.
There are another category where it's like I enjoy it passively as I kind of take in the story, and that's like 1, 2, 4, and 6. Mm-hmm. And then there's the category, and this is a spoiler alert for the next episode, that I just dislike the movie, and that's episode 9. But The Last Jedi kind of stands on its own because, on one hand, in my opinion, this movie contains some of the very best moments, some of the most intriguing character developments and, themes and messages, and some of the most beautiful cinematography that we'll talk about. In all of those things. It's got some of the best Star Wars content ever of any medium in the saga or in the universe. On the other hand, it legitimately has some of my least favorite story arcs, some of what I find to be like the most egregious character development choices, some of the weirdest and like dumbest scenes in the whole saga. And I almost feel like I like watching it. I feel like I don't know what to do with the first half of the movie. And as I was watching it, that was the part I kept pausing the most, was like the first half of this movie is just so all over the place. But I think it all summarizes into being like, this is such a peculiar movie to me because I am simultaneously loving it and being annoyed by it several times throughout the movie. And that doesn't happen for any other movie in this saga.
So far.
Well, yeah, we'll get to episode 9. That's a whole other story. I want to summarize what I just said, and then again, I'll give you. I want to give you as many chances to speak as possible. Otherwise, I will keep going. But I think the best way to summarize what I think about this movie overall is like to give you a quick preview of the next couple of questions. What did you enjoy the most? What did you dislike the most? Some of my positives of this movie include character development and cinematography. And some of my negatives of this movie include character development and cinematography. And it's like these different parts of those things at different parts of the movie, I feel just get pulled in such different directions for me. There's obviously more positives and negatives, of course, that I want to talk about also later. But that's a good example of why, like, I'm just anticipating this episode. We're like 15 minutes into this recording, and I'm still like, the future of this episode is a thing. Like, I feel like we haven't started yet, But I anticipate my thoughts being like really scattered for this episode than the other episodes we've recorded.
Right.
So this is a good opportunity for you to respond or add your own thing there. I've got a few more things on this question, but it's a good one.
Work on the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and give my answer.
Okay.
And hopefully that maybe gives us a little line of sight.
Sure.
I love this movie for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the aspects that are probably what the studio did.
Mm.
And I probably love 90% of what Ryan was trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And so that in itself is... So 90% of what Ryan was trying to accomplish, meaning everything I think is just his.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't the studio's interference.
Sure.
I think the stuff I think the studio had to do with it, awful.
Yeah.
Like that's the spectrum of it's 90% of it I love, and that 10% is just really, really bad.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I think I think Star Wars as a property missed out on an opportunity they're not going to get again.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks as a fan.
Yeah.
That sucks to think as a fan.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I
absolutely.
think if they attempt the opportunity that I think they're going to force it too hard, and it's not going to settle in. Like, this was their opportunity to do something so dramatically different that the whole movie was building to,
Yeah.
and then let down at.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think
that's a good summary. Yeah.
I think it's 90%. I love it. I honestly think about 60% of it is like the best Star Wars to come out.
Yeah.
30% is solid story and really an opportunity to do something different, and then 10% that's just garbage.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think we're going to end up with similar. From the sounds of it, at least, like pretty similar vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Another couple points here, just in the overall. I'm almost done, I promise.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's true. I could just be saying that. You have no idea. You haven't seen my notes.
I know, but I have to edit it, so
that's fair. Okay, next thing in the overall. This is a pretty small point in the grand scheme of things, but I think it's just interesting. Do you remember when we were talking about Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
And I talked about how this was a movie where it doesn't, when you kind of zoom out and like, almost if you were like to reverse engineer like a storyboard of it, you would find that there really isn't a lot of moving pieces and a lot of different places. Right. I find that The Last Jedi is another movie where that is the case.
Where there's not a lot of moving pieces?
There's not a lot of like physically moving pieces. There's not a lot of different settings or different places where people go. So let me like give you the example.
No. I think there's validity in that.
Mm-hmm.
I also disagree.
Okay. Interesting.
Because like when you're like what you're talking about, if we kind of look at it and break down Empire Strikes Back, for instance, we have Hoth, where everyone is.
Yep.
Everyone is at Hoth.
Yeah.
Then we have
Luke
Han,
goes to
Leia, the gang, the Scooby Gang goes
Asteroid Field
to Bespin. Luke goes to Yavin, Bespin. Dagobah, Bespin.
Yep.
So they each have the same amount of steps.
Oh, yeah.
So you're moving at the same time, essentially. Like Luke doesn't arrive at Bespin too much later than when...
That's correct.
When the gang gets there.
That's correct, yes.
I think there's stuff happening in Last Jedi that is distractingly moving along. So, like, the idea that there aren't a lot of moving parts, I think, is like there's validity to it because we can look at it as there's the bombing, then there's the pursuit, while Rey is out at the
Octo
Jedi Island and the Blue Milk Island, and so we have that, and then we have Finn and Rose going off. While there's
Canto Bight.
you do have these little things, and then there was this secret planet that's just off in the distance. And so I think there's a couple more moving pieces, but I think more so than that, there's plot moving pieces.
Sure. Oh yeah,
But I think that's where it gets distracting. Is there's too many vines coming out of the plot that it's all trying to reach the same point, which is coming back to the end.
Yeah. Everyone ends up on Crate at the end.
Yeah, that's where they're going. But like, it's like one of those things, you know, like when you go to the optometrist and they make you put on, lean into that goggle thing, and you're supposed to click the button every time.
Like 1 or 2.
Well, no.
Oh.
There's a test that goes where you lean into these goggles, and it has a white screen, and they just say stare forward, and every time you see a dot, click a button.
Weird.
And
I've never done that.
So there's dots happening outside in your peripherals, but you don't know where it's coming, so you're just trying to stare forward so you're not too focused on one side.
Yeah.
And what's happening is the story is making you spread out to the peripherals, but your then you turn your vision to something over here to where your peripherals can't see the other part of the story.
Yeah.
And that's what I think The Last Jedi is. The Last Jedi is everything is spread out so far that it makes you, instead of use your peripherals and stay focused on the main story, it actually turns your eye. It turns your eyesight.
Gotcha.
So that your peripherals can't be seen as well.
Interesting.
And I think that's one of the major issues with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of these little things, and you're trying to like keep up with it, and you're trying to move along with it, and then you're focused on this area, and then they cut back to what's happening on the ship, and you're just like, what is happening on this ship?
Right.
What is the conflict right now outside of you're getting attacked? Like what is occurring?
Yeah, that's right.
You know? So I guess that's where I would like disagree with that a little bit. I think this is simple yet spread out in a different way.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Fascinating. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Last thing I have for the overall thing. I'm really curious how you'll take to me saying this, if you have the same kind of feeling or not.
Okay.
To me, when I'm watching The Last Jedi, I can't shake the feeling or sort of the thought that this is a Disney property.
Ooh.
And I don't get that with any other Star Wars movie.
What aspect feels Disney?
Yeah. So there's a couple things here. Number one, it could be, these are all hypotheses. Number one, it could be that Galaxy's Edge opened about 6 months after this movie came out. And as a result of that, and for what it's worth, Galaxy's Edge as a land, like, canonically takes place after Episode 8. And so there could be, like, a correlation in my head there.
Could be.
The second thing, I think that this is this is probably the strongest reason for me.
Okay.
There is I don't know if you or I'm sure you pick up on it, but I'm not sure like how deeply this like affected you. There is, in my opinion, a really weird and unique brand of humor in The Last Jedi that is not in any other Star Wars films, including there's a lot of like I guess this is similar to Jar Jar Binks in Episode 1 in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of slapstick humor. There's like when Finn gets paralyzed by Rose at the beginning, and he's kind of like flailing around on like the bed, like it's played for humor, but it is actually kind of awkward looking. Another example.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I see your point. I think we're gonna talk about this later too. I think I see your point. And go ahead.
Real
What's
quick,
your
just
second
like
example?
Two more quick examples. Another one is at the very beginning when Hux and Poe are communicating, and he's like, "Yep, like I'm holding for General Hux. Like, are you there? Like, can you hear me?" And as he's like getting closer to the Star Destroyer, and it's like,
I would, if we establish Seven as like a Star Wars movie before that Disney vibe, then that joke I would disagree with. It feels out of place because it is like a blatantly good, like it's a joke, like it's funny, but I think that Poe establishes himself because, you know, when he first gets captured by Kylo, he's like, so who talks first? Do I talk? Do you talk? So there's that little bit of there, but I do think that to go on to your point more, is I do think there are moments where I think it's twofold. Mm-hmm. One is maybe that Disney vibe of jokes that really haven't been in the picture before. That there's so much validity in that, and I think that it is heavier on humor. Like, it's humor on purpose rather than humor from wit.
Yeah.
Or like humor for humor's sake, not humor for developing a character's sake.
Yeah. The counterpoint, and I 100%, by the way, Poe is a funny character from the very beginning. The difference is that the scene with General Hux over the radio is literally like a minute and a half long of like straight up. It's from a comedy movie, and it's the very first scene. It is literally the first scene in the movie.
The second fold to what I was going to say was that it felt like either it was Ryan or the studio or someone was like looking at the humor in Star Wars and then going, let me take a stab at it.
Yeah.
And they were trying to replicate it for the sake of replicating a joke in the same way that like George Lucas did in the prequels, but they're so forced that they feel unnatural in the world. There are jokes that land.
Yeah.
And that feel part of it, that are part of like story development. You know, like part of Harrison Ford's comedic timing is built on the fact of building Han Solo up as a character. Oscar Isaac has great comedic timing.
Yeah.
But so I wonder if this is one way to split it. The jokes that are coming from like Han and some of the other Star Wars characters from the original trilogy come from a place of Harrison Ford's acting and within their improvisation within that moment that is built on the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
The jokes that are in this movie are written in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the difference.
That's a really keen observation. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that you are hitting the nail that I, am thinking of on the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're written in, they're structured into the time, the story, and everything. When Oscar Isaac has the chops to be able to build Poe up. And I think that's, we'll talk about things we liked least about it. And I think there were some characters who, to their detriment, were written comedically or written a certain way that undermined the actor for the sake of whatever the purpose was.
The audience of a podcast can't see this, but I am nodding my head ferociously right now.
And so, I agree with you and I disagree with you, but I think we're probably on the same side of it overall.
Yeah. Yep. So there's that for the Disney feelings. The other, another quick Disney feeling is that there's this porgs everywhere. And that's another like splash of that humor. But like if you go to Disneyland, like everyone's got the little Porg, you know, figure on their shoulder and stuff.
That was which like could be argued. It really could be argued that is
it was
to some point very Lucas-esque.
Yeah.
Because he was thinking of the merchandise as he was doing all that stuff. And,
absolutely.
But I think there's like we said, so, you know, so the, you know, Return of the Jedi wasn't written by George. George just gave a lot of the ideas. Empire Strikes Back wasn't written by George, but George gave it a bunch of ideas, and he had a lot of control over character design and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
The Ewoks had their issues, but they were not just there.
Right.
They were written as something to develop and help the plot. The Porgs aren't.
Yeah. The funny
they do nothing for the plot.
Correct.
They do nothing for the story. They're just there. The Crystal Dogs are more applicable to the plot.
Yeah.
But also they weren't as upfront. They were literally like scared dogs, so they were hiding a bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think the nurse lady, the alien nurses, they, whatever they're called, maids or whatever.
Nurse. Oh, like the people that look after the
the caretakers.
Yeah.
They're fine. I think
cool.
it connects to the story of like, I think it kind of lightens the load of like, so Luke has been living on this island like by himself for 30 years or 20 years. No. Oh no.
Okay.
He's had some friends. So he's not going entirely mad.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. The Porgs, I don't know if you know this, a little behind the scenes. The Porgs are included in the movie because the island that they filmed Octo on is like infested with penguins. And the visual effects artists didn't want to go through all the shots in like the distance.
So it was just easier to mask it with a character.
Yeah, it was literally easier. Any of them that were close to the camera, they could just cover it with a Porg. And the ones in the distance, the one flying around or whatever, your eyes don't notice that they're actually penguins.
Right.
So that's kind of fun.
Which that makes sense. It's the extra stuff they do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like the tapping on the lightsaber and like getting sad at Chewbacca eating, or barbecuing,
or even the battle scene
in the Millennium Falcon
when he's like yelling with Chewbacca, and then they bring him up there again to do it again, and then he's in the way, and it's like
he falls.
That's a little extra.
He falls into the glass. It's like boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one more Disney reason, but I'm going to save it for when I talk about the negatives of this movie.
I was really not happy with Mickey Mouse's cameo.
His
like
cameo,
it was
pretty
quite
on the nose.
It was, yeah. I was going to say on the ear, but
ooh. Ooh, that's certainly what I like the least. All right, I'm done with my overall section. We are 30-something minutes into this recording.
I think we're going to be okay.
We're good.
What did you like best about the movie?
Yeah, there's a lot here. Truth be told, like, there's a lot here. I alluded to character development and cinematography earlier already in the positives. And the best character development and the best cinematography take place together. And the thing that I want to say I like the most about this movie is, to summarize it all into one thought, is the middle of this movie. The middle of this movie to me is just incredible. In fairly quick succession, you have Rey learning about Luke's failure with Ben and explaining Luke's absence for episode 7 and all that. You get Yoda showing up to burn the Jedi Temple, which is
spoilers.
amazing. You have the beautiful discussion that Yoda has with young Skywalker about the failure of masters. You get the throne room scene on the supremacy. Snoke is displaying his power, but he succumbs to the good that we all hope is existing in Ben Solo. You get the Holdo maneuver where Admiral Holdo light speeds the ship into the supremacy. All of these things are happening like back to back, and it's just so fun, dude. Some of the best moments of the whole saga. And then, I forgot this, but you have Kylo after their fight pleading with Rey to join him.
Right.
And the two of them end up splitting the lightsaber, the Skywalker saber, going back to Anakin. All of these happen within about maybe 20 or 30 minutes of each other. And it's just like peak Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's just, I remember sitting in the theaters and when he kills Snoke, I gasped and jumped out of my seat because I knew okay, they are letting it rip for the rest of this saga. You expect Snoke to be the big bad that'll get addressed in episode 9. But as soon as they take him off the table in the middle of episode 8, you're like, what are they doing? Where are they going with this? It's awesome.
Yeah.
So the middle of the movie is my big main answer.
Yeah. So I would ultimately agree with that. I think that Kylo and Rey's character development and everything that they're kind of doing together is legitimately the best character development in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know of a time that we really start to see the motivations, the growth, the everything that's happening, the fear, all of that within the scope of a character in the way that we see it in Kylo and Rey. It's great. And I think I would maybe specify that the middle section specifically following Rey and Kylo.
Yeah. The throne room is my favorite.
Right. Because the casino's happening around this time too. And
they're back already because they're on the supremacy about to get executed when Holdo does that light speed thing.
No, I think maybe.
Yeah, because remember, Phasma's execute,
Oh,
and then
okay,
that's when the light speed happens, at that same moment.
Well, I mean, when the Yoda thing is happening.
Yes,
that's around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing, if you isolated that, that's just prime fun, awesome.
It's so
very
good.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I am gonna be full of controversy.
Okay. Here for
controversy. And I actually think that the storyline and plot with Luke is actually perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything wrong with anything that happens within that.
Right.
I think what else is good?
Can I speak on Luke for a second?
Yeah,
that's something that I wanted to highlight too.
Yeah, go for it.
I remember, again, put yourself in 2017, shoes, and you're watching this movie in the theaters. Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder is so shocking, right? It's actually a twist that Luke Skywalker is a hermit. It's a twist that he wants nothing to do with the Force and whatever, right?
Right.
Because that all goes against his character from the original trilogy. Luke was the ultimate optimist, especially in Return of the Jedi. Like, that is what saved Anakin. And as such, like, the massive change in Luke, I think it just creates a lot of intrigue for the audience. Like, we want to know, like, why is he like this?
Right.
And the reveal that he, at least in part, helped create Kylo Ren is like such a great explanation for everything that we've seen of him or not seen of him since episode 7.
Right.
This is awesome.
Yeah. I think that The Last Jedi could be summed up with that it's a movie of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The whole theme throughout the entire movie, I don't think is about like good and evil or even the Jedi and not Jedi, but the perspective of each character.
Yep.
Because we hear Luke's conflict with Kylo 3 different times in 3 different ways.
That's right.
And it's not until we get to the end that we see the full picture of what's occurring.
Yeah.
And so, and then you actually said something that was very interesting that I actually disagree with.
Oh, let me hear it.
Which was, you said that Snoke succumbed to the goodness in Ben, and I actually think that's wrong because that goodness to save Rey, I actually think that's one of the best writing things in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because what's actually happening is there's no goodness in this moment in Kylo. He is going deeper into the dark side, believing that he can motivate Rey there too.
Oh, yeah.
And
that makes total sense.
And so what's beautiful about when Snoke is being pompous and talking about, I put those things into your minds, I can see everything. The reality was all 3 of them were right.
Yeah.
All 3 of them were right at the same time because they all saw the same image, but they saw it from different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, everything went exactly as it was supposed to go because everyone saw what they wanted to see.
Yeah.
Rey felt that Kylo could do well and turn against Snoke. Fact of the matter is, he turned against Snoke. Not for the reason she wanted to, but he did turn against him.
Oh, that's
her
brilliant.
prophecy was right.
Yeah.
Kylo knew that Rey would fight by her side. She did.
Yeah.
But his vision was too short-sighted because of his anger, because of his hate, that he only saw the moment of survival.
Yep.
He didn't actually see the long view. And Snoke was right because everything he said about the lightsaber was true, but he underestimated not only Rey, but Kylo.
Yeah.
And so, like, all 3 of them were right and wrong.
Yeah.
And that is, like, the best telling of that I've seen in the whole series.
That's so good, dude.
Like,
I've never thought of that. Yeah.
If you watch it, every time they say something about their prophecy, it comes true. But they just have the wrong perspective.
That's right.
It's gold. It's
Yeah.
gold. It's so good. And I think in a lot of ways, so I will say this on as the way, as something I liked, but the conclusion of it or the capping of it, I will fall under what I liked least. And so one of the things I liked best was Rey.
Yes.
Rey is by far the best character in regards of the Force that has ever occurred. Now the conclusion we'll talk about because I think there's a way to, like, we'll talk about the missed opportunity.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I like Rey. So I actually like the opening sequence. I actually really, really like the opening sequence because as far as character development goes, the idea is that Poe, it seems like Poe wants to take over and be the main leader, but he's just not ready because he doesn't understand. He thinks that the Resistance is a fighting force.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, he's just as bad as the First Order.
Yeah.
Who are willing to sacrifice their soldiers in just in the, thousands and thousands go out and they don't care because they're like, we have more. It's fine.
Yeah.
And the beginning establishes that Poe is so focused on like that win that the sacrifice doesn't matter. And it's funny how throughout the whole thing, it's really not until the end where Laura Dern's character,
Admiral Holdo,
where she does her light speed move, that it clicks with him. Mm-hmm. It takes him that long because even when he takes over the ship, his whole point is that they're leaving the ship.
Yeah.
He cares more about the ship than the safety of the people within the ship because it's like, well, we're retreating at that point.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, we are because look at that thing. It's
totally true.
But Poe is his storyline is so we're going to start getting into the least too because they're so interconnected. The Poe's character arc is so dependent on Finn and Rose that he can't arc.
Yeah.
He can't move. He's stuck in whatever they're doing. And that was a bad move.
Totally. I can totally see that, yeah.
And Krista just walked in.
Oh.
There was what? Oh. Hi. She says hi.
Hi, Krista.
He says hi. Good.
Hope this makes it on the podcast.
Well, it depends on how much you hear Krista then. You can close. I'm going to turn the air on. Oh, man. But I'm going to keep recording, so you can. Okay.
Tell her we need like 2 more hours.
We need just like 2 more hours, Joseph says. Casual. It's cash.
That's
okay,
great,
so,
dude. Yeah.
So I said
that Poe depends on Rose and Rey.
Or Finn and Rose.
Finn and Rose, excuse me, yeah.
And then I think we're just going to do you have something specific that you like really liked more than what we talked about? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Well, what was the before we get too much of the character stuff, because I want to get into the like least, because it's so intertwined. Like that's what makes this movie hard to like pinpoint, is because the good and the bad, it's like it's 2-colored licorice.
Yeah.
Like a Twizzlers that has too many colors in it, and you're trying to be like, well, I just want to take a bite of yellow.
Right.
Oh, well, I have to peel it apart, Yeah. So,
let me rattle off just a couple more like positives.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to the negatives.
Cool.
As I alluded to this earlier, but I have to mention the cinematography. Like, my gosh, this is some of the very best looking. Some of this movie is some of the very best that Star Wars has ever looked.
And whether it was Rian Johnson's active decision or whoever, producers, whatever.
Sure.
There was a big, what felt like, visually it felt like it. There was a big push back to practical effects.
Yep.
And that was a win.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think the
absolutely.
practical effects really brought it together, and really get like the Snoke's, I guess, throne room or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
The fire.
And most of it's practical.
Yeah.
Yoda, even though he's a puppet again,
Yeah.
I think that built so much nostalgia and
It
really
looks
brought
so
it back.
good. Ryan Johnson really, this is another positive, but like Ryan Johnson really knows his Star Wars, what would be the word? But like his nostalgia, right? Bringing Yoda back for a cameo, having R2-D2 play like the message from Leia, like he knows what he's doing. Like he's pulling on these nostalgic. You can call it fan service, but it serves a purpose.
But that's where the next one we're going to talk about failed fan service.
Sure,
Fan service for the sake of fan service.
We'll get to that then. Yeah.
Well, not just the next question, the next movie. I think
yeah.
I think one of the good things is that there are few exceptions, but overall things that are considered fan service are done in a way to help the story move along.
Yeah.
They're not there just for to tickle the belly of the fan, but to move the story along and to really build the world. Mm-hmm. You know, you were talking about R2-D2 playing the Leia video. The fact is that was character development.
Mm-hmm.
That was a thing to move Luke along to do the right thing.
That's right.
Yoda, again, character development and story development. There's so much good, helpful fan service that occurs.
Absolutely.
In this movie.
Totally.
That will not last long in the next one.
It will not at all. A few more little things here. I love that in this movie, Luke and eventually Yoda primarily acknowledge, I think for the first time in the Star Wars saga, honestly, that the legacy of the Jedi is largely a failure. And they call out criticisms of the Jedi that, especially the prequel trilogy, is like either too afraid or ignorant to approach. Like, how do they let Palpatine get to power under their noses, working hand in hand with him? Right. And the fact that they just sort of acknowledge, like, yeah, like the legacy of the Jedi is failure is kind of refreshing. It's kind of honest.
Yeah. Well, that's the okay. Name the couple other things, because I think the point I'm going to get into is going to be a biggie.
So while I don't really love the character himself, you've got DJ and his message of it's all one big machine.
Right.
That's it's really progressive for such a mainstream cultural movie.
That's one of the things that I think falls under this Twizzler story. Okay. In that it's intertwined together with the good and the bad. And the good is there's a story point that has been trying to be told for a few years, and it's this idea that depending on your perspective, the good guys and the bad guys aren't that far apart.
That's right.
So when we're not watching it. But Rogue One,
yes,
you have the rebels. Within the first 5 minutes, your protagonist kills someone, never explains it, hides it, and never finds retribution for it.
That's right.
And so we have this understanding, and that movie tries to do it too, to show that like the rebellion isn't necessarily the good guys.
Yeah.
It's just the people who are fighting against, this government authoritarianism that is raging on, that like objectively for the betterment of your life, you should be against, but ultimately personality wise and maybe like moral, like what people find within their morality isn't too much different than what they probably already believe.
Yeah.
And I think this was trying to do it. And we'll talk about least favorite. The route that they took to tell that story was awful. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I think they could have used the DJ character. I think they could have done so much more.
Yep.
To really build it up. Because, okay, yeah. So DJ, but the purpose of his character has had a positive. Like I did like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Not my favorite character, but he brings up an amazing point that they don't really do anything else with.
Yeah.
Last thing in the positives, and then we can move on. I think that, and I just want to acknowledge, I think the acting in this movie is incredible.
Yeah.
I think everybody that is a part of this movie, everyone on camera in this movie, does an amazing job with the roles that they're given.
Yeah.
Especially Adam Driver playing Kylo. I think at this point, I think after episodes 7 and 8, it might be safe to say that he is maybe the most talented actor to ever appear in any Star Wars movie. His plea to Rey to join him after their fight in the throne room,
right?
Like when he says please, that there's this exasperation that's like sold as a part of it. That you can see like the yearning he has to connect with literally any other person in the galaxy is so effectively conveyed. I also think Daisy Ridley gives it her all in this movie. And then Mark Hamill kind of famously disagreeing with the direction of Luke as a character and how he was written. But I think Mark Hamill gives actually his best performance in the saga.
Which
in this movie.
He goes back on that eventually.
Yeah, he does. He does.
But I think he fell into the media circus about it, about it. I agree with all of that. I think what I love the most about it is tempered with what I like the least about it.
Yeah.
Which,
let's go ahead. We can transition if you want to the next question.
So I think the opportunity missed by The Last Jedi was the fact that they didn't grow up. I'm going to be mean about it. Grow up and do the right choice, which they built the whole movie around, that the Jedi were no more. The Jedi should not have continued on.
Yeah.
And they built it up that way. The reason being, and I think it builds into that perspective question. I think that the true chosen one, the one who brings balance to the Force, is Rey.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because her balance of her... So one of the big things about the Jedi that I always thought was stupid was search your feelings. Like, they always talk about their feelings, but then they also say, but your fear and your hatred and all this stuff, those are bad.
Yeah.
You can't use those. Those are bad feelings. And in this movie, we see Luke get scared by Rey.
Yeah.
By how quickly she allows herself to feel her fear and to feel her anger and to feel those feelings that the Jedis were so against. And the reason for that, I think, is that Rey is perfectly balanced in the Force, that she can use both the good and the dark. She could use the light and the dark and creates this middle ground. And I think, and that answers so much of some of the story things that occur. So why does Kylo think so highly that he can convince Rey to turn? Because he senses her fear and her anger, and he thinks, she's going to the dark side. But the reality is, no, she's perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
So she can have those feelings while still being able to know what's right and do what's right.
Yeah.
And so Yoda comes. Yoda comes and he says, Luke says he's going to burn it down. He says it has to end. And Yoda's just like, yeah, go for it.
Yep.
And
let me do it for you, actually.
Luke changes his mind. And then he goes on, says, but what about the books, the ancient writings? And Yoda's basically like, they're boring.
Yeah, no one reads them.
No one reads them. And the key to it was Yoda said there's nothing in those books that Rey doesn't already have.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this child, this girl, this being who is so balanced within the Force that inherently she already has everything that she needs. She is so in tune with the Force.
Now, counterpoint to that, she does literally take the books.
No, so see, here's the thing. That to me was that to me is a studio throwaway. That's like the studio comes in and says, "Hey, we got to have those books somewhere. Like we can't kill off the Jedi.
That's a
we
MacGuffin.
Have to
That's a MacGuffin for a future Disney Plus show.
Right. Like we have to have the Jedi continue.
Yeah.
I think the whole movie, as far as Rey and Kylo's concerned, the whole point was to destroy the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rey isn't a Jedi.
Yeah.
But she's not a Sith either.
Right.
She's something new. So the title was right. It was The Last Jedi because Rey is something new.
Yeah.
And that could have been that episode 9 was, the birth of something new or the rise of something new.
Some new
instead
order.
of that rise of Skywalker BS that has no payoff whatsoever.
Yeah.
But, the rise to what Rey truly is. And Rey isn't a Jedi, and she's not even in the 9th one. She's not a Jedi. She doesn't fit the scope of a Jedi.
That's right.
And it literally, like, the payoff could have been when Kylo says, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do this, and he's like, and everything you said, but one thing is wrong.
Uh-huh.
And he could have been, this is wrong. The war has just begun. But you're right. I will be the last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rey is something new.
Sure.
Tomorrow we'll find something new for people to hope into. Something you cannot stop. Mm-hmm. Like, there could have been such a good buildup. And then all the scene with Rey picking up the rocks and doing all that would have been the momentum, the weight of it would have been so much heavier. It would have been so much better.
It certainly fits the name of the movie a lot better.
but I think it was. I might be attributing too much of my hope of the story.
Yeah,
because writing wise, it's leading that way.
Yeah,
it's not leading that way to just be like, JK, Jedis are still around, like there's no one says a bad reason for the Jedis not to continue.
That's right.
No one has a good argument for them to continue on.
Yeah.
And so you have this whole thing where they're building up to it, and then at the end it's just like, never mind. And that feels like a studio thing. That feels like Ryan was writing this point, going that direction, going hard on it, and then the studio was like, pump the brakes. Which, like, I get it, but at the same time,
sure,
that's you gotta have meetings about that or something. Like, you can't, you can't have this whole movie going a certain direction and then sharp turn it. And I think that's the thing I like hate the most, is because that opportunity to bring something. So what we're left with is episode 9, where Rey is whatever stupid Jedi thing she is now. And now, where does the universe go?
Right.
You still find yourself in this place where you're building off of the same Jedi, need for the Jedi, rather than there is something new in the universe. And they could have been the next step for Star Wars could have been, now let's tell the story of the people who are Force sensitive, who are building their new Jedi Order, like their new thing. Like, we're going to look at it and it's going to be like, we're the new Jedi. We have these ancient books, rather than, hey, these people were wrong.
Yeah.
Let's build something better.
Yep.
They're not going to do that. They're not. And they've missed that opportunity. And I hate that for Star Wars. Like, I hate it. And that alone is true. Like, if you look at the stories that are being told on Disney Plus that are really fun stories, they either have nothing to do with Jedis, or it's still Luke Skywalker. Or it's still Obi-Wan. It's still the Jedis of old. What's the next story to be told? The next story to be told is bigger than Jedi anymore. It should have been something new, and they didn't do it. And now, we're just left in this weird, cavern of, well, Jedis are still around, but we don't want to use the Skywalker story anymore. So, we're just going to give up on Poe, Rey, Finn, Rose, all of these stories that we grew. There's no way to build a new story for Rey or for Poe or for any of them, because you're just going to keep going back.
Yeah.
You're going to keep going back to a well that's empty. And that's, sadly, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it so much, because the story outside of the casino, everything that happens, even some of the bad things like Poe being a ding-dong or whatever. And no, there's another thing I really don't like, but everything outside of the thing I'm about to say is great, is so good. And then the payoff is so bad. To me, it's bad. Maybe some people see it as like, yay, the Jedi continue, but I'm on the side of it shouldn't have continued.
Sure.
They should have stopped the Jedi, and Rey and Kylo should have been something new.
Yeah. I dig that. I find that all so fascinating, and even going back to like your original point with that being that like Rey is the chosen one, as opposed to the classic, right, Star Wars idea is that Anakin is the chosen one, going back to episode 1 and bringing balance in episode 6.
Well, and ultimately, the prophecy is still fine.
Sure.
Because, like, Anakin...
The balance doesn't necessarily need to be permanent.
Well, there's that, but not even that, because Snoke says that Kylo is the heir to Darth Vader, the heir to Anakin. Yeah. So Anakin's still bringing about that balance. Even though Rey is a no one, in this one, she's a no one.
Yeah.
The balance is brought through is still through Anakin, because I think her whole arc, the way that she's trained, is she's let down by Luke. Mm-hmm. She's let down by the light, and she's let down by the darkness. So she can only come to this place in the middle and find a new path.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like it's almost like, instead of it's like she's got sunglasses on. I don't know. Like she's just balancing it out.
Sure. Yeah. My primary negative with this movie is similar to yours. I think it goes in a different direction, but it revolves around episode 9, right? Like, and it's the same thing I said with The Force Awakens, where it's like my biggest gripe with this movie is what the movie that comes after it, or at least the movie that ends this trilogy, changes retroactively about this one. So, like, knowing how the saga ends in episode 9, unfortunately, saps so much of the beauty and the intrigue that these characters and this story has.
Yeah.
And like the biggest casualty of that is Rey's parentage. Like you just said it, right? Like Rey being a nobody is probably like the best thing about this movie.
It is so good because everyone and their mother was like, she's Luke's kid, man. She's Luke's kid. We all read the books. He had a kid. We all read the books that aren't canon. He had a kid. And the fact of the matter that they revealed it in such a way of Kylo essentially being like, you should join the dark side, because the fact of the matter is everything that hope you're working for doesn't exist.
That's right.
Because they're no one. They're nothing.
Yeah.
And
dead
that
even.
was such a perfect arc for her.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah.
And like you said, 9 completely destroys that direction.
And it's impossible now to watch episode 8 and to like hear that conversation with Kylo and like not be like, oh, he's wrong. Like she's Palpatine's granddaughter. Like, come on, man. It's
spoilers.
Terrible. Whatever. Some other negatives, even regarding character development, less specific to episode 9, but even what episode 8 does in some cases. I really don't love how Finn is handled in this movie.
That's one of mine, and let me tell you what I think it is, and
go
see
for
if
it.
you see it. It is sadly a cookie cutter of episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
So episode 7, we have Finn, who sees the gravity of the situation he's in within the scope of this battle.
Yep.
Then he's working his whole time with the oh man, I didn't realize it was this cookie cutter.
It is
with the assistance of a girl he is very attracted to and is awkward around. But the whole time he's lying to her as he's trying to run. Mm-hmm. And then she teaches him a lesson about how to be brave or how to see the good, to where he then does the right thing. And then ultimately the girl saves him.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that women shouldn't have that role. I think we need more heroic women. But that's his story arc.
Yep.
You just have him in the other side.
Yeah.
He has the exact same story arc as when he was a stormtrooper, now with the Resistance.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Well, let me put it this way.
It's awful.
It is. It really is. Let me put it this way. The Force Awakens, in my opinion, it sets Finn up not just as, like, of course, a hero of the Resistance, but someone who's clearly developing Force sensitivity and could be a legitimate, like, leading character that is a black Jedi. And that's just awesome. Instead, in The Force Awakens, there is a time where Finn almost runs away from the threats of the First Order. Right. He eventually overcomes that fear and does not run away from the First Order, and that I think is a sign of character development in the Force Awakens.
Right.
However, the very first thing that Finn does in Episode 8 is try to run away from the First Order,
which he says the same thing again.
Yeah.
Which
like,
hey,
we learned nothing.
We can't. You can't fight this. You have to run. You can't defeat the First Order. And then he, and then in the Last Jedi, they're basically like, oh shoot, the First Order, and he's like, you can't beat the First Order. In parentheses, after we technically defeated them, I guess 20 minutes ago, however long the distance is.
Yeah, hours probably.
Like, it wasn't that long ago, and he's already like, you can't beat them, man.
Yeah.
You can't. I just risked my life. I saw Han Solo die. I got sabered in the back to show my bravery as the planet weapon collapses, defeating or at least splintering the First Order to a bit. But man, you can't beat them. You can't. Yeah. There's nothing you can do.
Nothing we can do.
I have amnesia. Like, it's awful. I don't know why no one saw that and went, huh.
Yeah.
You don't. Even in the 9th one, he starts to have the same arc. Like, they move him along a little further.
Yeah.
But it's like they started him halfway through his current arc rather than being like, you just help defeat the First Order, 2 major defeats, battle defeats for the First Order. You help destroy 2 of their biggest weapons, splintering the First Order. And you're going to do the same thing?
Yep.
Oh, man. I hate so much what they did to Finn.
Yeah. Same thing, same idea, what they did to Finn in episodes 8 and 9. I saw this. It's like a meme that I saw. And basically
only credible sources are memes.
That's right, yeah. But basically it makes the point that, like, Finn is sort of reduced to, in the last 2 movies, Finn is reduced to someone that is just running and yelling, Rey! Like, as she's, like, fighting.
Yeah.
And that literally happens 4 times.
I feel bad saying it, but John Boyega?
Yeah.
He's essentially like the token black guy.
That's what they wrote him into, yeah.
He wasn't fulfilling necessarily stereotypes, but it was like, we need to have a black character. Mm-hmm. What should his story be? We've already done this. And then someone was like, well, we need to have a black character. So let's just have him do the exact same thing again, but a little different.
Yeah.
And there, he doesn't fit those tokenisms, but that's what he is.
Yeah. Fortunately, the only token bullet that they dodged, they did not do this, thankfully, is he's not like Lando's son, right?
Which, do you remember the drama when this movie came out? When there were Lego boxes that were coming out?
No.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember this.
So there were, before the movie came out, there were Lego sets where Finn and Lando were together, and it was like father-son, because sometimes the Legos tell plot points within
their
Lego thing, and so it was like it was giving it out, but there was such a I don't know if it was a backlash or they were just like, oh, we didn't want this to be the case. So, they changed it or, whatever it was. Like, it was early enough that they were like, we can do whatever we want. I don't think those sets actually released.
Sure.
So, like, I guess they missed that exit to tokenism. But yeah, that would have been the worst, where it was that you have one black actor pretty much in the whole thing, or the original trilogy, and then the one other black actor happens to be his son.
You have this entire universe of very diverse life forms and cultures and everything.
They could have told the story like that. Could have worked in a way where the First Order comes to collect on the debt that Lando owed the Empire, and he refuses, and in that act they kidnapped his child. They could have told that story.
Sure.
They didn't.
They did
so
not.
We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But Finn to me is chaos.
He's
like
wasted.
his whole. It sucks. It sucks because there's so much potential. You have a stormtrooper who turned. He turned from the First Order, from the Empire of sorts. Mm-hmm. In Obi-Wan, they have the clones that are essentially like homeless veterans.
That's right.
That are begging for money. And that was like after this point, as far as when it got released. It's telling a story before.
Yeah.
But it's after the release. So this was the first telling of like the stormtrooper going against.
That's right.
Everything. And it just wasted.
Falls flat. Yep.
And which leads me into the other thing of I actually love Rose, but I hate everything they did to her. Like everything.
Yeah.
It's so I think the idea of her being Finn's, like, okay, if they're going to tell Finn's story, fine, whatever, tell Finn's story. She is the perfect counterpart to that story.
Yep.
She has a brave sister who gave her life for the Resistance, and now she sees this guy who she's heard stories about, who was part of this battle that defeated the planet weapon.
Yeah, Starkiller.
And planet weapon. And and then she sees him being a coward.
Yep.
And she's like, my sister just gave her life for this. Do you think I'm going to watch you do the same? Like, or do the opposite of running away, whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of character development, this was one of my notes. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I already talked about, I said the payoff was that the Jedi should have been destroyed. Luke was right. Yoda affirmed it. Rey is something more. She is a master of the Force, but she uses her feelings, all of her feelings. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
Good notes.
Good notes.
I would have rocked Avid. All right. I love the mind reading aspect. Everyone is technically right. We talked about that. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the thing I think it stands out the most.
Okay.
Not fighting the hate, but saving what we love is so undeserved. Oh. There's no development for that.
I hate that line so much.
Why do we have it? She fought stronger because her sister sacrificed herself for the Resistance. There's no point in the story that really emphasizes. You can say when she sees the animals and the the animals are treated badly, and but at the same time, it makes no sense in the long run.
Yep.
Because then it's okay. Then the resistance always has to be in the defensive mode. I am like a staunch pacifist, but I understand the fact that if you were in war, there is an offense and a defense, and attacks have to happen. And he was in a moment where he was about to hopefully stop the machine, and what essentially she did was assured that there was no guarantee that Luke was going to be there.
Right.
Without Luke, they would have been killed. Luke was a fluke. So in the grand scope of it, like, she did that and just saving what we love. Like, to me, there wasn't enough romantic buildup for that. Like, that alone, there wasn't enough romantic buildup. 2, there wasn't enough development in her own storyline to bring her to the point where we're supposed to say, "I saved you, dummy." She could have killed him.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like,
she could have just crashed into him.
Yeah,
head. Like,
physically, she should have. Like, the ships were destroyed. She killed him. We're just talking about a fictional movie, so physics apparently make no sense.
I'm laughing so hard at that idea. If she had just murdered both of them, and then Poe would have been looking and he was like, "Did she just run into what the heck was that?" Yeah.
Another ship? Who was the ship that ran into her? Ran into him. Oh, it was Rose.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, they're both dead.
What is she doing? Yeah.
And that's not even at the fault of Rose. That's just the bad writing, like that.
Yeah.
Whatever that turn was, I think ultimately Finn was supposed to die. His story arc was he was supposed to. Maybe it was Disney was like, "Hey, he's contracted for 3 movies, so we need to keep him."
Sure.
But as far as his story, okay, fine. You have to repeat his story arc. Fine, whatever. What is the conclusion? What is the conclusion for him? That he sacrifices his life. That is a good story for him.
Yep.
It sucks. Emotionally, it would have been devastating.
Oh, yeah.
But for his storyline, it would have made absolute sense.
Yep.
And she stopped it with an undeserved stop fighting the hate.
Yeah.
And start saving what you love. And I'm like, but don't you save what you love by destroying what you hate? I don't know.
Yeah. I have such an interesting idea on that. I want to stick a pin in it, though. Okay. It's kind of how I want to conclude this section of negatives. Let me say one more small negative, and then I'll get to that. It has to do with cinematography. I promise that cinematography was in both camps too. Maybe it's not officially a cinematography thing, if we're using exact terminology. But I'll just explain it, and it has to do with the camera and how it all looks. So, I find this is kind of a weird thing that I picked up on after a while. And this was the first time that I noticed this. I find the color palette in this movie to be pretty boring, to be honest. There are a lot of scenes in this movie that are mostly either black or white or red and white. And the reason for that, I'm painting with broad brushstrokes here, no pun intended, but so much of this movie takes place inside of literally no more than 2 spaceships.
Right.
The Star Destroyers are all black and white on the inside. The Resistance cruiser is white, and then there's the red flight suits. Right. The Battle of Crate at the end is all red and white. It's super gorgeous, but everything is red, black, or white in this movie. The only exception, pretty much, is what happens on Octo, and those are beautiful scenes and some of my favorite, sights of the movie. other than that, my whole point is just to say there's just very little color in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the throne room should have been red for effect, being so stark.
Oh, totally.
But because of the red on Crate, I think it takes away from it.
Sure.
I think that's a really valid point. I think one of my things that I didn't like about it cinematography-wise, which it could just be my opinion, is some of the wide shots, maybe because the camera's... I think there are too many wide shots. Like, everything feels far.
Sure.
And there are some times where it's so far that like you feel like it's on a movie set and not in that world.
Sure.
Like there were a few shots that really pulled me out of the moment because I was like, that just looks like a movie set. And it's not any of the stuff that happened on Jedi Love Island. That looked good. Yeah, actually, I think it's the ships. Like, I think there are points in the ships.
So much of this movie just takes place in 2 spaceships. Like, that's, they're not super, and they're military vessels. It's not like they're supposed to be all like decorated and stuff.
Right.
But it just makes it kind of boring.
It's like if the Avengers was just on the skyship.
Yeah.
Like the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
that's right.
You just lose the New York scene and it's just there and
hallways and like
it's
command centers and
I get that 100%. Yeah. I agree with that. I think I agree with that. The color palette it's oddly toned down for what it could be.
Sure.
Yeah. Which is really interesting because like gosh, even thinking of like Return of the Jedi, you have Jabba's palace, which is just Tatooine.
Yeah, a lot of yellow. You go to Dagobah, there's green.
But it's still like, it's a swampy.
Sure.
Which it was literally filmed on like a artificial swamp. So, like, and there's so much fog happening.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit down the throat of an alien worm thing. So like
I just thought of another thing.
It has some of the same problems, but yet I'd never felt that.
Yeah.
But that is something that really stands out in this movie.
Let me put that another way that just came to my mind. This movie does not have a lot of like daytime. Like having
you're in space.
Just a blue sky. There's like almost none of it.
Because
even on Crate, it's like they're during sunset pretty much.
Holy cow, I think that's it. I think that might be it.
And then most of Octo is at night. Like it's like there's no daytime in this movie.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think I didn't
That's
put
it.
that in I didn't
I
put that in my
think that's it.
notes, but I think that's it.
I think you're in the cold reaches of space.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's cloudy where on, Jedi Island.
Mm-hmm.
And
or nighttime.
Or nighttime. But even in the daytime, it's cloudy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that island is off, in the UK somewhere.
Yeah. It's off off of Ireland, I believe.
Yeah, so it's UK weather, which is just cloudy as can be.
Yeah.
And it's very... there's no sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it different, because even though in Return of the Jedi, they're in a forest, like there's day, there's night, there's different lighting. All the lighting looks the same all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. You've cracked the code,
I
dear
caught
boy.
it. I figured it out. All right, let me get to my last big My
Okay.
last big negative. This pulls on, I think, so many strings that we've talked about so far tonight. And how I want to say this is that, remember earlier I was talking about this movie feels like a Disney movie in a lot of other ways. And I said that I'm saving my last big one for the negatives section. Here it is. In my opinion, this movie has a really, not just the sense of humor thing, but in my opinion, this movie has a really unique to Star Wars feeling of like cheap positivity to it, with almost no regard to what's happening or what's like actually happening in the universe and the movie.
Can you kind of give me an example?
Yeah, I'll give you an example in a second. I want to clarify, like, I don't think that Star Wars movies shouldn't be hopeful. Obviously, the theme of hope in Episode 4 is pretty purposeful. But I think that hope is kind of grounded in the reality of the rebellion. In The Last Jedi, I find, and we've actually mentioned a few of these already, I find that the characters have a lot of really pithy things to say. And a lot of characters are just relentless idealists despite everything going on around them. Here's the best example I can think of, and this is like, it's not a bad thing. I don't hate this in the movie per se, but it just gives this weird vibe.
Right.
It's the group of kids on Canto Bight, like the slaves,
Right.
and the fact that they're like animal friends or like super personified, and the group of children is like diverse and they look like they're out of a Disney brochure, you know, like there's this like magical liberation storyline that they experience. And then at the end of the movie, you get the boy that like picks up the broom with the Force, and he looks up and he literally sees like a shooting star. These are things
it's a ship going into light speed.
Oh, I know that, but it looks like a shooting star. And like, I think that what this creates for me is a lot of the feeling that I've been alluding to tonight, which is just a feeling of cognitive dissonance that I get from The Last Jedi. Because like every character, for some reason, is like always smiling. And the movie is like remarkably upbeat. And that is like, in my opinion at least, like against the situation in the galaxy kind of being pretty hopeless, and the movie aiming or trying to feel dramatic. But the movie never lingers in like the drama and the intensity for too long. And the movie's at its best when it does, like the throne room and everything.
But
like
I
that.
think also too, it doesn't ever answer any of that.
It doesn't at all.
Because you're speaking on this, and I'm thinking, so we have Poe who goes through his thing. You know, Leia is recovering. Oh no, what do we do? And then Poe goes through this thing, and there's a, order of power.
Mm-hmm.
And so the right person gets promoted, and like Poe thinks it should be him. Not earned.
Nope.
It's not earned. And then as you go through, like, there's so much that is so funny about it, because like when I watched it this time, Admiral Holdo, she's right to do everything that she did. And you're kind of presented as though, Poe's right, but Poe is wrong. Mm-hmm. Because, like, if you stop and you think about it in the drama of the moment, in everything that the story is telling us, when Poe is like, tell us the plan, she's really quiet, she's keeping her cool and all that stuff. But, like, for me, it would have been, why? Why should I tell you this plan? Why should I involve you? We are clearly being tracked. We are clearly being tracked in light speed.
Mm-hmm.
So why should I believe that there isn't someone giving information to the First Order as we speak? So why am I going to make this information public?
Yeah.
You know how insane that sounds? Like, everything Poe does, you're supposed to give this perspective of like, oh yeah, Poe's cool. And the reality is like, no, Poe is wrong.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in that, but the problem is that's never answered.
Yeah. Totally.
It's never answered at all.
Yeah.
And like, I hate it.
So that's my last negative is it ties into like, it feels like a Disney movie. There's a weird sense of humor and there's just this weird cognitive dissonance where everyone is just like just positive in a weird way that just doesn't vibe with the situation or with Star Wars sort of at large.
I think, and this is something I hate, and I wrote it down as a note. I hate about the movie, and I think it falls into that category. I think it falls into the category, and it's that, and maybe it is that Disney thing, but everyone is looking for a quip.
Yeah, totally.
And
oh my gosh, yes.
I have one that I wrote down because I think it is the most like gag-inducing.
I can't wait.
Let's go Chrome Dome.
Amazing.
And
not literally, but like as an example, like
because like Phasma has this kind of a decent storyline in that she is what's the word? She's a zealot. She is a First Order zealot. And she you can and it's funny because it is kind of like a parallel. It could be used as a allegory for racism. Because she's literally saying to the one black character, I always knew you were scum, or you will always be scum, or something like that.
Yeah.
And she even started with like
rebel scum.
Which, ew, too. That's awful. That's an awful quip.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where it's like, this is a Disney movie where it's like, yeah, rebel scum. You'll probably see it on like a T-shirt or something. Like, yeah, I am rebel scum. But like, I forget how she starts it, but I think she was just like, I always knew you were going to be trash or scum or whatever it is.
Sure.
And then he says,
you always were scum, I think it is.
Yeah. And then he's like, let's go Chrome Dome. And it's just literally like,
yeah. Why?
Why? Like she is proving her zealotness.
Yeah.
And he's literally like, you wear a shiny helmet. Like his response is so juvenile and so dumb.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of moments where that's happening, and you know, there could have been a really good message coming across of, you know, doesn't matter where I've come from or what you think. It matters how I am or what direction I'm going now.
Yeah.
And just lost. Just no good in it. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's those little things. That's the 10% that
yep.
It's not just that it's like, oh, I don't really like this. it is objectively bad,
and it just makes the whole thing feel weird. I think
it takes away from the good.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think that our criticisms of this movie fall within the same like zip code. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that there are subtle differences and we take it in different directions, but I think that we're hitting on the same thing.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, I'm excited. Cutting right to the chase. It's the same as from episode 7. It's Kylo Ren, dude. He's just amazing in this movie. I think that speaking about like character development and all that from earlier, like, yeah, his character development in this movie is stunning and amazing. He is being driven by his own failures, both as a Padawan with Luke and now failing as an apprentice to Snoke. He's kind of driven to this new like motive in life where he says like, let the past die.
Yeah.
Kill it if you have to. And it's like these words are indicative of like this young boy who's just he's at his wit's end, and this is underscored by his aggression, his anger, things that we see, lashing out in episode 7, but it's cranked up to 11 in this movie, and he ends up killing his like longtime master Snoke, and he tries to kill Luke in order to find his own freedom and his own self-awareness, but both of those efforts ultimately fail in those goals. One kind of side note on that like motive or motto or whatever, let the past die, kill it if you have to. I think ironically the character in this movie that embraces these words more than anybody, including Kylo, might actually be Yoda. And I love that.
Yeah.
He's the one calling down the lightning to destroy the Jedi temple and everything. It's just fun. I actually think this is a thought experiment that came into my head as I was kind of thinking about that. How do you think Kylo and Yoda would get along?
Poorly.
I mean, okay, assuming there's no like immediate hostilities.
Poorly.
They get their lightsabers out.
Because think about how Yoda trained Luke. Mm-hmm. We're both teachers. We know teaching practices.
Sure.
And I think Yoda's method of teaching is not to give answers, but to lead them to the answer, to continue to ask questions. And like, I feel like Kylo would have gotten to a point where he's like, give me the answer or I'm going to kill you.
That's probably fair. I like that.
The Kylo we know.
Yeah.
Maybe when he was a kid, it was different.
Sure. Probably.
Which I'm glad you said this, because this is something I've thought about since I first watched the movie 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I haven't expressed it in a way that has been given to the public. So I'm going to shoot this idea out. And it is another missed opportunity for Star Wars. And I think the pieces were there, and maybe somewhere there's like rewritten scripts where it originally had it, or deleted scenes or something like that. But so when Snoke is pontificating upon his plan to Kylo, well, he's doing his monologue to Kylo as much as he is to Rey. He wants Kylo to know he failed.
Yeah.
And he wants Rey to know that she failed. And so we're given this tidbit that Snoke was the one who put the idea into both of their heads.
Yeah.
So what the opportunity that was missed, which the pieces are there, so it could have just literally been dialogue. It could have been just someone saying it, someone admitting it. Snoke was the one who put the fear in Luke's head. Because he can. He has the ability to. He can. And it could have literally been answered when he goes, I was the one who put those thoughts into your head in the same way that I did to Skywalker all those years ago to turn Kylo against his master. Like that, it was there. Those pieces were there, and you can set that there because you have 3 different instances where the same story is told, different perspectives, and all that has to be said is that little bit of dialogue saying, I was the one who did that. Because then it all comes together.
Crazy.
Where Luke is right and Kylo is right because of what Snoke put in their heads.
Sure. Oh, that's
and then
crazy.
That would have shown how deep Snoke has been in this. How deep that he found Kylo in that young age and turned him against his master. And it could have been that thing that Kylo used against Luke, or Rey could have encouraged Luke and given him that moment of, you didn't lose Kylo, Snoke lost Kylo.
Right.
And there could have been all of this.
Yeah.
And we're just nothing. And the only reason that I feel that's a lost bit is because I'm totally fine with the death of Snoke halfway through this.
Sure.
But we are so limited in our scope of what he had already done.
Yeah.
And that would have been that little, like, that line would have built so much story to show just how powerful this guy is.
Yeah.
Because to say, hey, I put this in the mind of 2 20-something-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, these two are they're influenced very easily. You know, they
They're not fully trained.
They're not fully trained. But if he would have done that to the Jedi Master, Snoke would have been the baddie of all baddies. Then when Kylo kills him and becomes the supreme leader, takes that mantle, then you have that weight of like, I just killed the strongest being in the universe, and now I am the strongest being in the universe. It would have given him weight. It would have given him strength and all of this stuff. And I just think that was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I can see that. Absolutely. 100%.
So, but my favorite character, Yoda. Yoda.
Amazing. I almost put Yoda.
I love everything he brings to the story.
Oh, he's amazing.
I think his affirmation that the Jedi needs to just go away. Because, like, the reality is, like, he can say, he's like, I was, 900 years old, and I've been dead for, like, 20... I've been a ghost for 20 years.
Yeah.
I think I've got my priorities figured out.
Yeah.
And, but aside from him, I actually, again, Rey and Kylo, to me, they've got a symbiotic relationship as far as story and character development goes.
Sure.
And I think it's all really fantastic, and I love that aspect of it.
Totally. Absolutely.
Is there anything else you have left? I don't think we need to ask the last question, which is,
it didn't understand. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot I didn't understand, but I think we talked about it.
Yeah. We've talked about a lot that we didn't understand. There's like 2 little like interesting tidbits that I want to talk about. One is that they made an edit to this movie, at least the version that's on Disney Plus. They made an edit to this movie in basically when Disney Plus launched in 2019, I think.
It was right before the pandemic because
Then,
we were it was like, I feel like it was like December of 2019 or November or something.
It was November, yeah.
Yeah, because we were all like, oh man, is this going to be good, whatever. And then March 2020 came and it was like,
this
well,
is the best.
I have watched everything on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Must have been pretty good. So they edited the movie very, very slightly. They added a line that Luke tells Rey on Octo during her training. It's kind of fascinating. So he originally says the line, "I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then, but it does now." Right? On Disney Plus, if you watch this movie, they add in 3 words, and it says, "I've seen this raw strength only once before. In Ben Solo. It didn't scare me enough then, it does now." Now, you may ask, why did they do that? This isn't like an official, written statement, press release reason, but the great sort of like conspiracy in the community, Star Wars Reddit, whatever, is that
the great strength was QAnon?
No.
Okay.
Goodness. It is that in episode 9, obviously, Palpatine returns.
Right.
And that original line where he just says, "I've seen this raw strength only once before," could be Luke referring to Palpatine in episode 8. And it could be like basically almost spoiling that Luke is telling Rey, "You have like power that I've only seen in Palpatine." And basically, like, there's nothing really else to say about it, but basically, by adding the words, "I've seen this power in Ben Solo," it severs that connection. It clears up any ambiguity.
Yeah.
It's not about Palpatine. But I just think that is fascinating.
I never thought that.
Yeah.
I never connect. I thought it was Ben. I always thought it was Ben.
That's
I thought the story. I thought
yeah.
the story kind of led it there pretty well.
Well, it does when you haven't seen episode 9, right? Because you don't know that. Like when episode 8 released, like everyone had still thought Palpatine was like long gone.
Even in episode 9, I don't think, because Palpatine's power isn't raw power.
Sure.
His is like decades long training and intentionality. The raw power, to me, that speaks of someone young who doesn't fully understand it.
Sure.
And that's like I connect that. So that's why I don't really see the connection with Palpatine, even with 9 lingering after.
Right.
But that is an interesting.
Just the fact that they edited it is like kind of hilarious.
Which is super weird of why would they edit that anyway? Like, sorry.
Yeah.
It seems like
good.
it seems unnecessary. Even with 9, it seems unnecessary. It just feels like maybe that's another thing of like the issue with Disney of trying to fit whatever their formula is, or whatever that they want to make sure that people see it the way they want people to see it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
What's the other thing?
Last thing, kind of a thing that I didn't understand, but it's more of a question and an open sort of discussion. It's such a significant scene in the movie, and it didn't come up in our conversation at all. And I just want to like get your vibe on it. I want I want to know how you feel about the scene with Leia in space. When I was watching,
Leia's in space. Oh, like
when she gets blown up
after the blown
and,
up,
like she floats back into the ship and stuff.
I think it was a silly way to show her Jedi ability. I think they could have done that differently.
Yeah.
But she Mary Poppins her way back into the ship. I think it's cool. I think it shows that, like, even though they're never explicit about it, that Luke clearly helped her and trained her in some ways, which is great. And that technically, like, if we're going to talk about Jedi and that structure of Jedi, he never was the last Jedi.
Yep. You got Leia.
Which is all the more reason to say that Rey is something new.
Mm-hmm.
But, he is a master. Who knows if she is, but
Sure.
she's clearly trained. I think they could have done it other ways.
Yeah. It's just brutal, man. Like, the shot of her getting blown up and, like, sucked out from behind is just like, oh my gosh.
Especially because we know that, like, the leaders of old all died.
Yeah. Well, and Carrie Fisher, the human actress in the real world, actually died about a year before this movie came out. And so there was kind of this, like...
I truly wonder if her being in a coma was a studio decision. Because I feel like,
so.
But I feel like how Ryan writes, he would have just killed her off.
I don't know. I don't think so. So they wanted one of the few things that Lucasfilm planned about the sequel trilogy was that they wanted each of the three movies to highlight each of the three, like, main characters from the original trilogy. So episode 7 was like Han Solo's time to shine and die, but that was like his character's completion. Episode 8 was about Luke. Episode 9 was originally
supposed to be
going
about
to be Leia.
Yeah.
And she died, like, basically after production on 8 had wrapped. And so that's why she's, the only time she appears in episode 9 is, like, cut together from, like, scraps that they had unused footage from episode 7 and 8. And, it's kind of awkward and she doesn't show up much because she was dead. But in episode 8, the plan was to keep her alive. It's just that the whole scene, like, we don't know that necessarily, again, watching it in the theater. So I remember watching it and, like, she gets blown up and sucked out into space. I thought that was it. I thought, like, well, there goes Leia. And I was like, holy crap. That is so intense and brutal and just like, bye-bye.
I think they should have done it.
That would have been,
it would have been brutal. I know all
probably,
of that, yes.
Yeah.
But you would have had her die.
Yeah.
And then Luke, that's another reason for Luke to come.
Yeah.
Like motivation. And then he dies. And so you have 9 starting out.
Just the youngins.
Just the youngins going, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
What do we have? What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them could just be like, we have hope.
Sure.
And that's what we have to start with.
Sure.
And it probably would have ended up being a better movie than that dog shit that we had. I just cursed. I'm sorry.
Bleep.
Bleep. I'm not going to. But yeah, that's.
Yeah.
It was brutal,
mm-hmm.
but I think it was good. It wasn't any less brutal or anything than when Han died.
Yeah.
It was. I'm not a. I think it's one of those things of like when you're you have a movie that is made for kids, like you don't want to do all of that completely, but the reality is this, as story goes, you want to build a world where consequences occur.
Yeah.
And
We'll talk about that in episode 9. Holy cow.
where consequences don't exist.
Holy
And
cow.
but like 8, we have Leia, and man, I'm kind of on that of like, if she would have, I think she could have showed her force power in a different way.
Sure.
Like if they would have shot and then she held her arms up and the walls of the ship held,
she's like holding
it together, but then eventually it's too much or another blast comes in. That would have been like, wow, she's so cool.
Or if she just never, if she can just like hold herself in the ship as everyone else gets blown out.
Right. Yeah. There was so much that could have happened, but
Yeah. Oh well.
we didn't have a say in it.
Yeah. What is your
idiots?
Oh wait, do we do rating at the end or after the?
We do
review?
rating at the end.
Okay.
All right. So now, speaking of, it's time for the review rewind. We look at critic reviews of when the movie was released. Joseph will read the positive review. I'll read the negative review, and we'll see where we personally fall. All right. Go for it.
The 100% rating, a perfect score, comes from Slate. They say this. Like many before it, The Last Jedi has already been hailed as the best Star Wars movie since... Oh, excuse me. Let me start over.
All right.
Like many before it, The Last Jedi has already been hailed as the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back. And while that is true, it's too faint of a compliment. It is a film of genuine beauty, one where you come away as eager to talk about the set design and the choreography, as you do the fate of the galaxy or what might happen next. That's a bold claim, saying that it is better than Empire, saying it's the best movie, basically, of the saga.
I think when you first watch it, it's easy to feel that way.
That's true.
There's so much to see and to comprehend. Like once you watch it, I remember when it ended, I was like, I think I love it.
Yep.
But then at the same time, like as the credits rolled by, I was like, did I?
Yeah. It's just like a lot to take in.
Yeah, it was so much. Alrighty. So let's see how we sit. The next one is a 50%. It's from Variety.
50. Man.
Although The Last Jedi meets a relatively high standard for franchise filmmaking, visuals and CGI, Johnson's effort is ultimately a disappointment. If anything, it demonstrates just how effective supervising producer Kathleen Kennedy and the forces that oversee this now Disney-owned property are at molding their individual director's vision into supporting a uniform corporate aesthetic.
Funny.
I think I would switch that.
Yeah.
I think that Ryan did an excellent job and wrote an excellent movie, and I think effective to its detriment of Disney and how it adjusted the movie to fit into the corporate aesthetic, because I think J.J. Abrams worked to make a movie that was for Star Wars fans, and I think Rian Johnson wrote a movie for the Star Wars universe.
So well said. Yes.
And then the corporate side of it, Disney was like, that's cool, but we got some bills to pay. You know, we have to follow these things. And so you get stuff added in, and you get stuff changed, and you get stuff cut, and you get stuff twisted where the original intent wasn't there. I would love Ryan Johnson, if you're listening.
He is, of course.
If you're listening,
Fan of the show, Ryan Johnson.
I would love to interview you about this whenever your what's it called? Your non-disclosure agreement expires or whatever. I just want to know. Maybe we won't post the interview. Maybe you and we could just talk. I'll buy you some McDonald's and we'll talk, and you can tell me about the stuff.
Fan of McDonald's,
the
Ryan
stuff.
Johnson.
I don't know. Here we go, Ryan. I'll take you to a Dodgers game. I will pay for your ticket. I'll take you to the Dodgers game, and I just want to know what your vision was and how much it changed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I see your vision, and I feel like you were right, and now it's different from what maybe you would hope for.
Sure.
And there's my message to Ryan Johnson. So this brings us to our grade. We're going to give the movie an A through F grade. And we are looking at it in the scope of its movie. Points can be adjusted for where it sits in the spectrum of, I think, the previous movies, but I want to say as much as we can, let's avoid what it's leading into.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But yeah, so here we go. What do you think?
Yeah, so before watching the movie, like before doing the viewing for this podcast, I was guessing that The Last Jedi was going to end up either an A or an A minus, to be honest. After watching it this time, and again, as I talked about at the beginning of this podcast, sort of wrestling with it, over like multiple viewings and multiple nights, I feel like I can't, like, in good conscience, give it as high of a grade since I've listed, frankly, so many negatives about it, even though I still feel mostly the same as I did.
Right.
All I'm going to do is just bump it down a little bit, and I'm going to say a B+. And that's probably being a little generous, but it's a super solid grade for what I think is still an amazing movie. It just keeps it out of that upper echelon of Star Wars movies for me at this time.
Yeah,
there are times when I watch this movie, like we talked about, like I've watched this movie before and I've come out of it thinking this is the best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. There's times that I come out of this movie, or at least where I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking this is just really weird and I don't like this.
Yeah.
So I feel like a B+ is like beyond generous, but I think it's a great movie overall.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sit it. I would sit it at like a B-.
Okay. B-, you got it.
And like, if I was going to give a grade point for it, it's like right at 80. Like, to me, it's bordering that C+ area simply because the things that are bad are pretty egregious.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that are good are, I think, really, really good. Like, again, I think the character development between Rey and Kylo is the best in all of Star Wars. There's no other Star Wars that builds characters in that way.
That's right.
There's a great emotional hold on them. The conflict is good. I guess you could, what's funny is, like, I think there's sexual tension, but at the same time, it's never heavier than, it's never more intense than the conflict.
Sure.
And it all sits in just like that scene where, like, because their last connection, because Luke kind of takes over, their last connection is when the lightsaber breaks.
Yeah.
And that is such a good, oh man,
That's awesome.
Them keeping the Jedi is such a missed point because the destruction of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber is a moment in time.
That's Anakin Skywalker, like
Right, like
lightsabers,
that is the lightsaber that began this journey for everyone.
Yep.
And it being destroyed means something new is to come. And we didn't get anything.
And episode 9 literally physically puts it back together.
Which is so dumb.
What a grand metaphor for what that movie also does.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. Anyway.
B-.
Man, I can't wait to talk about this stupid freaking movie we have to watch next.
I have a feeling I'm gonna outpace the notes for episode 8.
I don't think it's going to be as long, but I do think we're going to complain a lot more.
Probably.
But, you know, if you like or enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to Review Rewind. You can leave a comment, or you can leave a review and say these episodes are really freaking long, and we're not going to listen. And make sure to follow us on all our socials. It's probably Review Rewind in some way, shape, or form. And well, no, that's a long title. And Joseph, you got anything else fresh to plug, or is it just your?
No, I mean I'll always shout out. Destroy the Shield Generator is a funny, borderline satirical Star Wars podcast that I've done with a mutual friend of ours, James, where we ask really ridiculous, funny questions, where we basically take the Star Wars media a little too literally and then try to break it down and explain it.
It's good.
But,
it's good. Yeah, so, you know, go to your local library and rent Last Jedi because there are no more video stores.
Yeah.
Or you could watch it on Disney Plus.
I was going to say, yeah, Disney Plus doesn't exist. Apparently,
we're not sponsored by Disney Plus, so don't support them.
That's right.
Or support them because they'll eventually support. I don't know. I don't know how all this works. So until next time, you can review your rewinds and rewind your reviews. And that's a terrible one. I don't like that one.
That is, in your defense, that's a terrible ending, but it is still the smoothest ending you've had of any of these episodes.
I know, but it was the one that, like, when I finished it, I hated myself. But next time we will see us with Rise of Sky. Oh, even the title's dumb. Episode 9, and then we will have one more, which we will rank it, and that one I think will be great to kind of decompress about it. This has been all right, everyone. Bye.
At the end of this episode, just want to say our episode is still shorter than the movie that we have talked about.
Which, I mean, that's like saying a work day is still shorter than an actual day. Like it's a long movie.
So
this is a long podcast. All righty. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.